Hello, one and all, and welcome back to League of Europe Formula 2. We are here today for the 7th round of Season 4. This one comes to you from Baku City Circuit and the capital city, Baku of Azerbaijan. So, as I mentioned, we're at the 7th round of the championship, getting deep into the second half of the LOE Formula 2 Championship yet again. And so, with the fight holding up all the way throughout the field, every single point in every single race is going to matter, evidently. So, let's get into it. We have, of course, the Baku City Circuit ready for us here tonight. It is a 20 corner circuit, one of the longest on the entire calendar, the second longest behind Spa, I believe. And so the driver's going to be put to the test here. You guys know the format by now. One shot qualifying, then two 50% races, one feature race and one sprint race. So we can now get things started. Let's first off look though at where things stand in terms of the championship before we get into the racing here tonight. So here we go. So still leading away as he has virtually done since the start of the season. It is Toxic MML leading on 199 points. QVR Verstappen second, his nearest challenger on 157. Larkin third on 153. Campbell fourth on 126. Those four absolutely classic names within LOE Formula 2. Again showing their class all the way throughout this season. Fifth is NSX Rocco. He's had a great season so far on 122. He just has Lando and Miami tied on 119 in sixth and seventh. 10 Cannon, Sweet Crowd tied for 8th on 112. Then Matthew 40 rounds out the top 10 on 100. Behind that you have XL Noon on 97. QVR Chill on 78. Then Dylan and Zenoma tied on 49. Josh on 37. M Short on 26 reserve. 26 as well for Autogear and Nolan. Then Gary in 18th. Ryan 19th. Hardy 20th. Sophie 21st. And Risa, who has backed out the championship, rounding off the grid. But now we have a race ahead of us then. Azerbaijan just about to come around the corner, so we'll see what we can do. Of course, it is going to be that one-shot qualifying session, always critical, especially at a bit of a street circuit like Baku. You're certainly going to be seeing that in action, but now we have it all lined up for you guys, so let's get into it then. The 7th round of the championship, ready here for qualifying around this street track. Going to be ever difficult to keep the car in between the white lines and keep it smooth sailing. And so the grid all set up, then everyone just selecting their tyres, getting everything sorted out for qualifying. And then we can get into it. Toxic Championship League going into this. 42 points. Let's see if he can extend it or if someone else can try and chase him down. We're going to watch QVR Verstappen, Championship contender. Now heading for the line for High Tech. Let's see what the Dutchman has got in store for us here today. First off, the left-hander at turn 1 then. On to the brakes then. Who can get into third gear? Trying to get early on the throttle to punch away for the corner. And through the exit, and you're onto the brakes again. Heading into turn 2. Just going on the edge of the curve. Going through the exit now. Planting that throttle pedal, and away you go now. Down the back, straight. You're headed now for turn 3. Another braking zone and another 90-degree left-hander. Keep going through it. That's the first sector. Nailing the curve on the inside is Verstappen. Keep here. Nice and clean. Onto the brakes. Yet again in turn 4. You can see Verstappen having to slow down the car a little bit more than he wants to through the exit of the corner in second gear. Then right up to the outside. And at turn 5. Sweeping into that entry. Clipping the apex as well. Going through turn 6. Hardy into the session. Won't partake in qualifying, but hopefully we'll get back in for the race. Now you hit into turn 7, get right up to the wall and out into the infamous castle section, and through turns 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. They come flying at you one by one as Safir now out the session will not be able to set a lap time here at Baku. We'll have to start the race from the rear of the field, but let's see, it's going to start it at the sharp end as we now go into the down braking zone for turn 15. You can see Verstappen invalidates the lap time on the inside line, and that is critical for what could be the championship challenge. Verstappen may well be well up against it. So now it's a run to the line through turns 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20, and it looks like Toxic may be over pole position and 2 extra points for the championship. Now it's a run to the line, everything now going into it. Who's going to grab that pole position? DRS is open up to the highest speed you'll see on the track, 320 kilometers an hour, but Toxic just peps his teammate to pole, and those two are well clear of the rest of the field. Toxic and Campbell, another Univirtuosi 1-2 in qualifying, but Toxic is indeed on top by just 400th of a second. Matthew for a great qualifying session in third, Lando fourth, Rocco as well controlling in fifth. The grid a little bit mixed up compared to what we're maybe used to seeing, but correct pole position. Toxic will continue to extend that championship lead. We'll see if he can take it forward and to the feature race. There's a lot of challenge ahead of us. Univirtuosi's battled that out for pole, but it was indeed the more seasoned Formula 2 driver that came out on top. Campbell second, Giroux being strong with Matt in third place from Lando 4 joining him on that second row. NSX Rocco is P5 from Tin Can Nolan 6th and 7th. Noon Miami Sweet Crown round out the top 10. Outside the top 10 is Larkin, again struggling in qualifying from Josh, Cinema, Gary, the last of the Valentines, Verstappen, Dylan and Safian unable to get laps on the board. So with everything said and done for qualifying, now we head into the race, and with a fascinating grid all shaken up here. Toxic on that pole position. The question is, can he chase down a race victory? He's actually only won one sprint race this season, and so be looking to add to that tally and try and pull through. But you sense that Campbell's going to try and give him a run for his money. His last 2 feature races have been excellent. A first in Monaco and a second place in Belgium, so we know he could be right on the money here tonight. Even for Toxic, he has gone through a bit of a podium drought recently. His consistency has kept him up there, but ultimately the podiums haven't quite come through, so he's going to look to try and score a strong result. Campbell joining him at Matthew 40. What a fantastic qualifying session that was, and of course he came close to a feature race victory back in Singapore. We'll see if he can repeat those fortunes as we now get everything all set up for what is going to be our feature race for the evening at Azerbaijan. And so with Hardy now in the lobby, I believe it is 18 drivers raring to go. And so now we get settled in, locked and loaded with the feature race in front of us. You can see the Univirtuosis fronting the grid. Let's get a look with 18 cars on the grid what the tyre strategies are going to be. The answer is almost unanimous in terms of starting on the super soft tyres. 15 laps in front of us, and tyre deck historically rather, I'd say, average around this circuit. It's not it's not exactly ridiculously high, but it's also not a cakewalk to get to the checkered flag. So a fairly set grid, with the exception of QVR Verstappen. We have a couple of disqualifications there, Noon and Miami going off early on, so they're going to start on cold tyres. Unfortunately, going to have less grip coming off the line. But Verstappen's going to be a driver to watch. He was running okay-ish in that qualifying session, not what we're used to seeing from him anyway. But he's going to go on an alternate strategy, maybe try and race rather than early in it. And of course, we run through this every time at Baku, but certainly the being in the midfield here is not the place to be. You can be at the front, you can avoid incidents safe and sound. Even at the back, you can measure your effort a bit more wisely. But down here at the back of the field, or in the middle of the field I should say, it's much more difficult to avoid cars and keep all your bits of the car. So these guys are all going to have to be watching out for each other and taking care out there. But the guys at the front don't have to worry about that as such. They can go at it. That, of course, Toxic and Campbell. We've seen throughout the season so far, there's not really any team orders between these guys. They are free to just battle away out there and give it all they've got. And so Toxic guiding them round to the grid then. And of course, he's been, I'd say, definitely the outstanding driver in qualifying this season, but not by the same margin he was last season. We'll see if his race pace can hold on here. Campbell will surely put up one hell of a fight there. Matthew 40, we'll see if he gets a run off the line. Lando 4th, of course, the man with the almost impeccable sprint race record. And with 3 victories this season, still more than anyone but his championship challenge has faded due to his relative inconsistencies throughout the season. But Toxic leading them round to the grid now. Formation lap almost in the books. I'm going to take a quick drink break before the race, and then we can get into it. Toxic Campbell the front row, but who's going to be leading it heading into that first corner? And so everything is set. Everything is settled. And we have 2 races for the evening in front of you guys. And so, Toxic fronts the grid. Campbell lines up alongside him on that starting grid. And we'll see who's going to get the best launch from the front then. As now the rear of the grid settles and we have a race in front of us. Now, the cars are sat on the grid and the lights are coming on now for the first race of the evening. We have 5 lanes. And we're away for round 7 of the championship feature race. First off on the agenda, who's got the best start from the front? Looks like Toxic is well clear, streaking away into turn 1. He leads from Campbell back to U40, holding over further, slowing in there. Rocco's got a good start. Then you can see cars jumping around in the background over the yellows. Then there turn 1, you can see Rocco sweeping through on Lando. Didn't have a great start then down the field, but Toxic leads. Campbell chasing him down second place. You're only seeing yellows in turn 1 there. Lando is off the track. And that is critical. Lando well off there in the dams, and recovery is going to be near impossible now in this race. Is now the field still battling away there towards the back of the field. You can see then it's Hardy and Gary side by side there. Dams against Prem, leaning on each other, heading throughout turn 4 and now into turn 5. You can see side by side action up the field, but they're still battling there in turn 6 inside line. As with the Giroux car, but they emerge side by side now through the exit. Who's going to come in on top here? They're still fighting for the apex, but Dylan with the inside line now. Can he run Gary out? And Gary force up towards the wall and still going for it into the castle section. Eventually Gary yields it and sets back into line. Now towards the front, Toxic's lead stretching 8/10 of a second, pulling clear. Campbell second place, Matt going with them third, and a bit of a gamble winning up to Rocco in P4 as they go down out into the braking zone. Then going through turn 15 on the first lap, you can see they're still swabbing back then. Dylan made a mistake going out turn 12, dropping back. You can see the gap's already getting to open. Gary a little bit detached from the field ahead. And so now they settle in, going throughout that final complex on the lap. We'll see if there's going to be any overtakes. DRS, of course, not activated until the next lap then. But you can see behind there, Josh is actually really on the offensive, but he didn't get a great run out of turn 19. Caught some dirty air, drop back now as his teammate Sweet Crown, who didn't qualify particularly well, now searching for the inside line and is going to claim it. Moving through then is Sweet Crown, is going to get past his teammate on the inside line. Josh trying to fight for the outside, but he cannot hold on, and through goes Sweet Crown up in 8th place. Josh trying to fight back to the inside line. That is not going to come through. Unfortunately, graphics glitches seem to be really throwing off the order here. What we can be certain of is the lead that Toxic ML holds in. That's U40, and behind that's Campbell. Just up the road then, and that black and yellow Univirtuosi car. Rocco still holding on 4th. Nolan looking strong in 5th, and great start as well from Miami. Right in the mix there, as now hopefully the graphics will eventually sort themselves out as they now head in to the middle sector. No one came in for damage repairs on the first lap, so it looks like everyone is relatively clean. But you can see Toxic well up the front. Now he's going to look to try and control this race. We'll see if he can hold on to it. Of course, navigating here at Baku, notoriously difficult to keep all your bits of the car, keep broke back in check, intact, and so they're going to have to try and hold on to it all the way throughout the lap then, but still they are holding firm. Toxic still leading the way then. Campbell struggling to go with him actually. Matt T40 looks comparatively comfortable sitting up behind Campbell, and DRS will of course be active next lap, will be first in use heading into turn 3. And so who's going to be in the ascendancy then? You can see Tin Can hassling XL Miami a little bit then, trying to chase down HW, gets a bit of oversteer over turn 16. Not quite near enough, and is going to have to try and just sit behind and wait for the opportunities to present themselves, as now they punch themselves onto the main straight, and Toxic is continuing to stretch that advantage clear at the front, and now just over a second away is critical forced progression with Matthew 40 is even quicker behind. Besting that fastest lap, but we're seeing battling then as Nolan to the inside lane of Rocco gets through it at turn 1. And moving up as Nolan, getting up in a 4th place then. Great stuff from Otger Nolan. We'll see if he can continue to push forward. Great showing he's having after what's been an incredibly difficult season. Nolan looking the best he has so far. Sweet Crowd moving past, or sorry, it's Nun moving past Sweet Crowd. Now Josh trying to attack his teammate looking to the inside. These MP Motorsport cars are not lying down from a fight, and now they go to battle down at turn 3. Then Josh on the inside line. Sweet Crowd sweeping around the outside will hold on to it, and Verstappen now with them. Verstappen having a solid enough start to this race. Now in 12th place. He's sticking with the train, and will he gonna try and move forward in the latter part of this feature event when, of course, he has the super softs on the 2 compound gap. It's gonna really show through, and he can try and charge his way throughout the order. We'll see if that's gonna come to fruition. Still, Toxic holding on at the front then, and Campbell trying to go with him. He's looking to get back in that DRS range. He has just about managed to actually, and if he can do that, well, he can just work his way ever closer, and so Toxic a little bit more exposed. Magway with him. These guys, these 3 are proving to be a comfortable class on the field at the moment, pulling well clear of everyone else. Toxic though is still having to dig in out there, but he runs a little bit offline and into turn 16, holds on to it, but he's got to be wary of the chasers behind him. But look at Matthew 40, he is inspired this evening and chasing down Ely Virtuosi pairing, looking for a way through whenever it presents itself on the down the field. Hardy's made an error. He drops behind Gary, of course, he's new to these cars, he's not got the experience. Look at Matt though, he's now troubling Campbell, looking for 2nd place on the road. The inside lane is covered by the Scotsman, round the outside, Matt's going to get squeezed down onto the curb, and cannot find his way through. Can Matthew 40, Miami looking round the outside of Rocco, that's one's cut off there, he gets a good enough run. Heading away from turn 1, looks to the inside lane, that one is going to be covered off then. Matt is still hassling QVR Campbell, but I don't think he's quite near enough for the move. As now they chased it again. Rocco to the outside of Nolan, looking to reclaim the place, and now Miami as well, trying to slip through around the outside then, and Nolan exposed on the inside. Big box then and run out of road then, and they're still battling for the exit then. Nolan, Miami, side by side, but Nolan reclaims it. Just holds on to it, but Rocco getting the better of it and moving away now up at the front of that straight, but still the gap to the front 3 just stretches and stretches. We've got a spin of this tin can down there at turn 2, and tin can dropping the car then. Hardy came out, he's got fresh tyres on, so is Lando further down the field, so Hardy looking to try and grab an undercut. We'll see when the rest of the pit stop is going to go through. As Campbell's made an error going up the castle section, and he emerges side by side with Matthew 40. He also backed out of it, but Campbell a major error, and now Toxic losing clear at the front. This is major for the race now for the back of the field. We've got, I think, Hardy round heading throughout the turn 4 is now Toxic with a penalty, but they're out of range behind him, so that penalty would have cost him so dearly otherwise. But now it has had Lex to no effect. But look at this now, Campbell nursing wing damage. Matt trying to go with it, but it's allowing the other guys back into this race. Toxic has been saved by the error of his teammates, and now running clear at the front, can just look to hold on to that one as we near the 3rd point at the race. Now Matt draws alongside Campbell, but surely Campbell is going to head to the pit lane at the end of the slap. Through goes the Cheroot, but he's also going to the pit lane. Toxic stays out, in goes Matt, in goes Campbell, and now it looks like a popular pit lap because they're all diving in behind us. Matt gets a penalty in the pit lane. It's all come undone for your race leaders, folks, in that last lap, as now they all look to service their cars. You can see now this is going to really shake up the order here. Campbell with that wing changes, dropping way back now. He's going to get it sorted out very soon, I suspect. The car's up on his chance. You can see them all jumping away at the pit box already. Man emerges. He's got a considerable lead, but with a stop and go penalty. So Rocco looks to be in the ascendancy, not tried it. He's put himself in a great position, and he's going to have Nolan right up behind him as they come in for the undercut, come in for the stop. We'll see what they can make of it. Up the field, Verstappen's moved past Josh. He's continuing his charge from the field, and he may get some pretty good points actually coming out of this race if he keeps this offensive up. Has Sweet Crown now just in front of him, and he'll be looking to try and chase the MP Motorsport car down. Still though, Toxic leads the way, and now 7 seconds clear. His lead has been completely enhanced over the last few laps, and now leads the way. Miami second, Sweet Crown third, Verstappen fourth on those mediums. Still though, Matt T40 holding on from Rocco. But of course that 5-second stop goes dropping it back then. Both Rocco and Nolan within that range. We'll see if they work together to try and keep themselves going, because we saw Matt's pace earlier. He had it in it to live with the two Univirtuoses when no one else could. As we got yellows further up the road. I think that was Safine going off then. And Safine, I think, has major front wing damage down there. Actually, looks to be fine. He was just lefty going through turn 13. But yes, he is still fine and continuing to press on there. But now, heading towards the pit lane, Toxic MLS is diving in. You can see he's just controlling it, very reserved on the pit entry. He knows that he doesn't have to push it too dramatically hard. In comes Miami as well. In comes Sweet Crown in behind him. Getting that stopped and turned in, and now Verstappen leads the way. And so Verstappen out there on the track then. Toxic emerging, gets held up a little bit then by Sweet Crown. But he still has a good enough lead that it's not exactly a worry for the double champion. And he's going to emerge up in the podium place. This is the pit lane, busy getting in. Matt T40 emerges pretty close to him actually. That undercut, very powerful, but he's backing up because we have full course yellows. I'm not sure what's brought that out. I'm not getting the notifications for me, but it's looking like we either have a VSC or a full safety car, and this could really play into the hands of Verstappen. The only problem is though, is that he does not have that safety car. It is a VSC only though, so it's not going to dramatically change the course of the race, but we will have some drivers benefiting as Dylan gets a penalty. That's not the first time that's happened to him this season of the VSC. Sweet Crown moved past Nolan going throughout the exit, just getting the timing a little bit better. So now Sweet Crown moves up into 7th position on a good recovery drive, it must be said. But now they're all slotting into that line, and actually Rocco's not too far off of Toxic. If Toxic does get another penalty, Miami as well is in the fight for the podium. It's now Campbell after the wing change, moving past Larkin in through turn 5. Gets the move done! Campbell up into 11th place, then moving through on his championship rival actually for P3 in the standings. Larkin getting himself up into 11th, but he's got an awful lot of room to try and recover that. Has the two Carlins just up the road of Noon and Zerma. We'll see if he can try and chase those guys down and get as many points as he possibly can from this race that has gone bizarrely downhill for him then, and had a driver that usually excels at these street circuits. From the front, QVR Verstappen looking towards the pit lane. Is he going to dive to it? Of course he is, and he's staying out there. Josh, though, surely is going to be going in, which will isolate Verstappen further at the front of the grid. And goes Josh then in the MP Motorsport car. Will come through now, and that's going to promote Toxic to the race leader. Matt in behind him, then Rocco. But Rocco under a little bit of pressure from Miami, who's still not DRS range, but he is just a bit too far away. Josh now went dropping places. We'll see where he emerges, if he can fight back now. Campbell on the move again, getting alongside Zerma, and QVR Campbell getting himself up into that 10th place now. And it's going to become 9th surely when Josh emerges from the pit lane. So Campbell up into 9th. Can he climb further? Next up the road is XL Noon. And we'll see if we can continue that ascendancy. But getting up any further than that is going to be an immense challenge. But another penalty for Dylan. Dylan now served the drive through. Now has had enough in this race. He has completely given up the ghost, and he's going to look to try and have better fortunes in the sprint race later on. As now for the down the field, like 10 cat getting up and alongside Larkin as well. Into turn 3, hesitates on the inside lane, but Larkin out wide will hold on to the place. Though I think in a turn 4 has the high ground, but 10 cat is not letting up then, running right around the outside and going through. He gets through the ailing HWA. Does Larkin have wing damage? His pace seems uncharacteristically slow. Let's have a look then at that car. Looks just a bit fine. He is pushing against 10 cat. He's eager to get that place back, but he simply just doesn't have the pace in that car seemingly to get through, and it does actually look like he has damage on that right hand end plate. That's why he's dropping back then. Lando moving past Hardy. Hardy getting out that spot on the inside line. Lando trying to go through. Hardy fighting it back down the inside of turn 2. They go for the apex, and Hardy might just get in front. He has got in front. He is not going to be up this easily, and has the DRS. The van Lando top back in the slipstream. These guys are at the back of the field. They're still fighting tooth and nail up the road. We've got a car off then. Who is that? Is that one of the leaders? I think that is just Dylan's ghost car actually. They're still going at it. Hardy gets the upper hand and through turn 3 will secure that position in the Premier. Runs out wide though, and Lando again will fight back towards turn 5, looking to the inside, looking back to the outside. Can he go the long way round then? Lando to the inside of turn 6, will cut further up the road. There is now Miami cruising past Rocco, and now up into that 4th place. Miami's having a great race. Campbell continuing to move now up in the 8th. But can he chase down the pack in front then? Rocco's trying to fight back to Miami. Looks the inside of the 2. Doesn't quite open up. And Miami, a great exit. Punching over turn 2. And I think he will be fine. I think he will survive another day out then. So now Sofian goes in then. Maybe got some damage on that last lap. Gets a penalty as well. Now out of the session. Altogether, that's the 2nd retirement we've seen in this race now. Verstappen leads and he's making pretty good pace. He'll try and come out somewhere in the midfield as Gary now moves past Larkin. Larkin has had a complete nightmare, and this is surely dropping him behind. Maybe, I think Rocco might actually get himself into the top 3 in the standings for this race. We'll see how this will go, but the standings still so remarkably close in the upper midfield. It really, oh, it could be changing at any possible moment. Still, though, Toxic, stretching clear, runs out wide through turn 12, will hold on to the car, but he is going to be picking up warnings. He doesn't want to be doing that to such a large extent out there. And so this race coming down a little bit out there on the circuit then. Toxic holding on to that net race lead. Verstappen actually not far off his pace. He'll be coming in the next couple of laps, I suspect. Well, QVR Verstappen, then of course he can get those tyres changed, that he can get back on the way, back on the road, but he will stay out for another lap then at least, until he wants to come in further down the road then. It's Safina out the session. So unfortunately, not have any chance of scoring points throughout the remainder of it, but looking at 6, Rocco, he adds Miami all lined up here, looking to regain that 4th position, and these two still going at it out there on the track. So DRS now with it takes Rocco, gets to get a pull to the outside, down the straight, then can he clear Miami before the braking zone? You bet he can. Through goes into 6, Rocco, back in the 4th place and reclaims that position. From XL Miami in behind, but a bit of a poor exit, bit of a poor run. Coming out of turn 1, now into turn 2. Can Miami fight back? He's right on him. He's so strong through these first few corners. And now he's going to look to try and fight back with DRS then. And Rocco's in trouble here. Now the HWA fighting back to the inside line and trying to claim it in turn 3. They battle for the apex then. Rocco is brave around the outside. Will hold on to that 4th position, but he's out of penalty range now. Oh, back to you, 40, thanks to the battling. So Matt is safe in 2nd place for the moment. It's now further down the field then. Larkin reclaiming 12th place from Exo Gary. These guys still going at it. Larkin gets them moved on, but both these guys have had rather measurable races. Just a few seconds behind the trade in the field. We're watching Campbell's progress. He's got phenomenal pace. You can see that on display. He is rapidly chasing down Nolan, but is he going to get there in time? We've still got just under half distance left in the race. Now QVR Verstappen, is he going to think about pit stops? Their fastest lap goes to XL Lando. But with Verstappen heading for the pit lane, you sense that's going to be rather difficult for him to hold on to. So Verstappen, surely now, is going to eventually dive for the pit lane at some point then. Looking to the kick of turn 20, but he may well just wait another lap or 2 before he can really get the most out of those super soft tyres. In fact, he's looking at the pit lane. He's going to dive to the pit lane. So at last, the strategy of Verstappen has come full circle, and now he goes in. We'll see what he can make of it. We'll see if he can try and claim his way going throughout the order. And so into the box now, QVR Verstappen, right at the end of the pit lane. Toxic inherits the race. It is now Miami trying to fight back at Rocco. These guys have been going back and forth all the way through, and now to the inside lane. Next to Miami is up in the 4th place, will become 3rd place with Verstappen in the pit stop. So through goes Miami. Now has a podium well within his legs. Where does Verstappen emerge? He is still sitting in that pit box. Or is there a bit of a graphical glitch there? No, he had to wait a little while. He's going to come back out. And that 11th place, but he is going to fly, he is going to charge, but can he get further up the grid as he wants to? Look at this, further down the field though, as Larkin and Gary, but further up the road. Rocco trying to fight back at Miami. Miami holds and pinches up to the inside line and will hang on to the place. That's now Larkin getting past Gary. Lando and Hardy are side by side at turn 15. Wow, these guys are going at it. Lando gets in front. Hardy's going to have to sit behind and wait for another opportunity to present itself then as they power out. Oh, that turn 16, look at Hardy, he's all over the road then. Trying to emerge and trying to get that car gathered up and back underway. Still looking for progress up in the front of the grid then. Now look at Campbell continuing to fly, continuing to charge, and now has Nolan locked and ready at his sights. Can he find a way through then and get up into that second position? Still, like Miami, holding on to the third place with Ian Rocco, a bit swapping and changing all the way throughout the race and throughout this feature, as now Campbell has no one lined up, but he's not going to dive it. Going into turn 15, sorry, that would be absolute suicide out there. And so it's just as well, he's going to hold back and wait for the opportunity to properly present itself. Then can Rocco fight back in Miami? These guys look as though they're going to go almost going at it all the way to the checkered flag, but now Rocco's got that opportunity to fight back and reclaim third place now as they hit the front straight. Now heading up to the lane, DRS active. NSX Rocco is going to chase down Miami, move up to the outside and cruise through his Campbell as well. Easy pickings. Oh, not scared. Nolan gets through it up in a second place and a good recovery drive from Campbell. Can he see through and move further up then? Verstappen now on the move. Has Ted Gad behind him there. It's got a few seconds to make up on the two Carlins up in front of him. Sophia back in the session, so maybe a bit of disconnection issues got him out there. There's now Gary Larkin still battling it out there. Round the outside, Larkin will hold on to the place. What a battle these two have had as Miami now attacking Rocco. This time he backs out of it. This time he'll yield it. A sweet crowd behind as well in the top five, looking for any way through. Is it going to come to fruition though? We're running out of laps in the race. Just over 4 to go, and he is still, as of yet, not been able to find that breakthrough. Still, Toxic leading up in the front, and he and Matt have been in a class of their own really in the second part of this race, and Matt didn't have a penalty. He'd be within a shot of this, but realistically he's just not going to be able to make most of it now. As now Miami getting up and alongside Rocco, looking to the outside area of the castle section. That one he's going to back out of though, as now Rocco just about holds on to it, but these guys absolutely going at it. Look at Sweetground, the one behind it, still threatening us now. Verstappen on the back of Zonema, continuing to fly up the order, but how can he sustain it? Look at this though, Campbell's not out of range of these guys. It's hard to get a penalty, but Campbell's just a few seconds away, and the race catching may not be out of this one. As now, Verstappen to the inside area, turn 15, going forward on Zonema. Zonema's going to have to back out of that one. Ambitious for Verstappen, but Zonema complies, and now Verstappen up into that ninth position. Look at this though, next on Miami now, as NSX Rocco lines up now for the move. These guys, absolute back and forth stuff, but they're more bunched up in this battle, so can Sweetground maybe try to find a way through? Dummy to the inside for Miami, and now Sweetground up on the scene. Can he get a move to the inside of turn one? No, he's just too far away, is the Dutchman, and he has to sit behind and wait in that fifth position, but he gets a really nice run then coming into turn one. Not quite near enough, he draws. And now they punch out of that turn two with DRS now open further down the field. I think that was Gary getting bypassed Larkin. Still, that's back and forth battling suing, and still going on is now Rocco again looking to the inside. We're seeing this pattern repeated every single lap between these guys as they jockey for possession out on the road, but still they swap going down into turn one and into turn one only. And so Miami can hold on to this place further down the field. Larkin and Gary are still going at it. Larkin round the outside and breaks himself. It's going to emerge. Still, side by side, look at the inside lane. And a turn four wheel to wheel. But Gary round the long way round. It's going to get on into that 12th place and sustain the attack and get through. On XL Larkin, they still run 12 to 13. Doesn't look like anything's really going to open up for them in the closing laps, but look at where Campbell is now. He has bridged the gap. He is with these guys now. Can now try and mount an offensive, try and mount a challenge. Can he find a way through then in these last few laps of the race? And so, he runs second place then. Miami head of the trade third then. They are split by Rocco fourth and Sweetground fifth. Now heading on to the back straight yet again with maybe another swap in range, but this time we have a 4-car battle as opposed to a 3-car battle. Miami's lead is a little greater this time, and are we going to see him hold on to the place? Still, NSX Rocco will be hunting him down on the way down, further down the road then, as now Verstappen trying to find a way through on Noonan, looking left and right, finds the space down the left to draw alongside, with DRS will get through surely, but now at the front of the train, Miami will actually hold on this time. in that third position. Sweet Crown with them. Campbell not near enough. Now Verstappen will get past Excel. Noonan up into 8th place, and Noonan cannot fight back to the outside line as Verstappen parks the car on the apex and will get through. But a good recovery drive from Verstappen, but Noonan's fighting back at him. Look at the inside of turn 2, but he cannot be as late on the brakes. Verstappen will hold on to it. Rocco again chasing down, but Miami looking stronger. He's going to lap pressure tires. Matt's going up. Matt's made a mistake go up the road. The gap now drops as Campbell and Sweet Crown going at it, and Sweet Crown in the wall. Sweet Crown down at turn 3 is going off then. He's broken his front wing in Sweet Crown. After what was a great showing throughout the race. Now he's going to drop back as Ogier Nolan right up behind him. Verstappen can benefit from this as well. Verstappen making a top 6 finish in this race as it stands right now. But now Matthew 40 going off the road on his own. And now that's put a whole host of cars within that penalty range and that stop and go that he possesses. Miami, Rocco, Campbell, maybe even Sweet Crown as well, but Sweet Crown's going to drop out of that very, very shortly. It's now Rocco beginning to struggle, beginning to drop back. And now he has Campbell under pressure, then looking for a way through. Rocco's going to have to fight for this one. Campbell may get second in this race and not lose any points. Universally 1-2. It's not out of the question, but Miami has the offensive position, has the best spot there, and there's still only 2 laps to go as they come over the line. So Campbell's going to have to move here. Can Rocco hold it back? Rocco will just about have the DRS, I think, then, but he gets a little bit of a poor run going out of turn 19, but he will just about get DRS, but will it be enough? I sense the fence may well be futile. Campbell the overspeed to the inside line. Rocco squeezing it right to the pit. Whoa, wow, Rocco's fighting this to the nail. Can he run round the outside of turn 1 by the inside line with Campbell? But now the switchback comes through. Rocco slingshots off the corner, tries to get alongside Campbell. Covers middle of the road, will move away and prevent these overtaking opportunities, but can Rocco fight back at Campbell? Campbell edging over to the inside line. I think he will hang on to it. We'll have one lap, one chance to get that third position and cement the fight back, but it may well come through. He's got time left in the race to do it. Look at this though. This race has been vintage toxic. It's been 4 races since he's at a podium, but this one has been absolutely brilliant. Dominance it has been from Toxic MML, and now he runs clear towards the line. And surely with just one more lap left in the race, we'll be able to see it through for another victory. Matthew 40 holding up to second on the road. But as it stands right now, he's not going to have it in him to maintain that position. Miami 3rd, Campbell 4th, Rocco 5th, Sweet Crown holding on in 6th then with Nolan 7th, Verstappen chasing down in 8th, but he sense it's just going to be a bit too late for him to benefit and to gain these positions. But can he make a late charge and a last gasp effort to pull himself through and over the top? Now, coming through, 1 lap left to go then. And Toxic leads the way then. Miami now with Campbell chasing him down. Surely Campbell has a run on him now, coming down the straight, trying to cement the fight back, trying to cement the podium now as they come out of turn 19 through the kick of turn 20, and now the battle commences with QVR Campbell hunting down next to Miami then. The bright and sunny skies of Baku are going to see maybe a change in the podium here as now Miami under pressure. Campbell to the inside line. Miami doesn't even bother to fight it. Through goes QVR Campbell. Down the inside, up in the 3rd place. Can Miami possibly fight back? Campbell's got a lot more pace on him. I can use that to try and pull clear throughout the remainder of the lap then. Campbell cementing the podium and with a 2nd place as well as Matt. That stop and go penalty is costing him dearly now as it stands. Miami closing them, but not quite near enough then. Rocco hanging on to it. He might still benefit from Matt's penalty, but I sense that everyone behind him is not going to. Sweet Crown holding up from Nolan. Verstappen rapidly chasing these guys down, but I'm not sure if he's going to be enough then. He's going to need the miracle to get them down the straight, tossing another penalty. Doesn't even matter. He's one of only 2 drivers that's got penalties for corner cutting in this race, but his lead is so gargantuan that he does not have to worry. Both of his leading rivals in this race have faltered, and that now is going to come back to bite him, to haunt him in these final few laps. And so, Toxic leading away then. He's driven absolutely brilliantly. This may well be his best drive of the season so far, and what a time to do it. This is going to dramatically extend that championship lead then. Toxic now, the last few corners, is going to see this race through. He has not put a wheel wrong now, and headed for the line. It is going to be Toxic MML cruising through, and to come through with the first victory of the evening here in the feature race. Toxic, your winner here in Baku. Matt will get second on the road, but he's not going to get it when everything's all said and done with the penalties. So Matt is going to cross NP2 then. Campbell chasing him down. He will though get that podium. Was that Matt out of fuel then? And he's going to lose out there, maybe even to the guys behind him. Further back, Sweet Crown holds off, but Matt drops back to such an extent he's even behind Verstappen from second. He must have run out of fuel at the line. And now down to 8. Noon is 9, 7 about 10, 10 can 11. That race long battle between Gary and Larkin will be won by Gary. He's 12 from Larkin's 13th. Josh, maybe going for fastest lap. Here he is, up on his current personal best. Let's see what he can make of it then. We've also got Hardy as well to cross the line behind him. But let's see what Josh can do. Fastest lap at the moment, if I can find it. I'm not sure if it's actually an option. Actually, no. Let's look at this one. So there it is. Fastest lap is Verstappen's on a 51A, but I sense that Josh may be able to have a little bit too much time to find to cement that fastest lap. Coming up to the line now as Josh underscored 2 after that incident early on. Unfortunately, wasn't able to recover. He crosses and will just miss out on fastest lap by just 0.3 of a second. Hardy will cross in that 15th place, and he's had a nightmare of a day here now. Weaving to the line, XL Hardy is going to cement that position. Toxic though is your winner, and somehow it's a universal 1-2. Campbell fights back to second place. Great driving there from QVR Campbell. And so now, as you can see, the driver of the day does go to Verstappen. Good fight back that was from Verstappen, and he has a real chance now of claiming potentially a sprint race victory. But no doubt about the winner. Toxic wins it. Campbell second. Miami third. That is your podium for this race. And Miami coming off the back of a podium last time out. A win last time out, I should say, in the Belgium sprint race, continuing his good run of form, and he's going to push himself into that third place battle in the championship. I think Campbell will hold on to that third place now and jump Larkin, who of course had a miserable day, but you can see that is the win then. Toxic wins it, Campbell second place. If Campbell didn't go off through the castle section, he may well have won it, but it wasn't quite to be. Miami is P3 in the end. A good drive from Miami. He wins that race Lombardi had with Rocco, who is still a very strong 4th position. Sweet Crown comes through P5 from Nolan 6th. Verstappen 7th. Matt just missing out on 7th. He comes through 8th place after a race of what could have been for the Dutchman. Noon and Zeno round out the top 10 from Tin Can, Gary, Larkin, Josh and Hardy rounding out the finishers. Lando not classified, Safane and Dylan didn't see out the race. That was it for the first race of the evening, but we still have another one ahead of us, folks. So stay tuned for that one. It should be another electric event. And so I'm going to have a quick drinks break before we get into it. But nevertheless, we're going to get into it then. The sprint race coming up very soon, folks. And so, alas, we have a sprint race in front of us. Matt T40 doesn't hear that pole position at least. Maybe that's what he was going for with the backing up, but I think it was just him running out of fuel. Verstappen will join him on the front row and look at his cement has come back this evening. Nolan 3rd, Sweet Crown 4th. You can see, of course, the top 8 all reversed And so we'll see if the Univirtuosos can fight their way through from P7 and P8. Everyone on the mediums, 11 laps. It is going to be a straight up run to the checkered flag, a run to the line. And that is going to cement the placings here in the sprint race, which always has a big effect on what may well be the championship standings further down the road. And so, Matt does lead the way. Verstappen will try and get him off the lane. And we'll see how this is going to unfold then. So, top 10, you can see all lined up. Matt, we'll see what he can do then from the lane. Of course, Toxic after that last race victory, his championship lead will be further exacerbated. And with just 7 races to go in this season, you said that there's almost no way back for the others. He has simply just been too dominant this season and may well be headed for a 3rd championship in a row. The question is though, can he possibly get it done in these next few rounds? He's going to have to try and fight his way back to the field, but the sprint races, I think, have actually been what's made the difference for him in this championship campaign. Just a couple of podiums, that's really set him apart from his rivals, in particular Lando, who's of course his championship challenge faded away long ago now. But Lando has won 3 feature races to Toxic's 1, but Toxic, or 2 now actually with the most recent one, but of course Toxic has just managed to recover with just consistency throughout the races. There hasn't been a race this season where he has scored less than 10 points. And that has been what's set him apart. He hasn't necessarily had the pace every week, but he's just got it done on a more consistent basis. Verstappen has been by far his closest challenger, but ultimately it's just not going to be enough. Now though, we come around to the line. Matt leaning around there, Verstappen on the front row. Verstappen really fought his way into a strong position. He's got a great chance of winning this one. We'll see what he can do. If he can maybe get the jump on Matt coming off the lane, as now they look to settle themselves on that starting grid. And so now 18 cars are going to get themselves laid up and ready to go racing. This race is going to fall. And so now with everything ready to go then, we have 11 laps of racing ahead of us. To cap off this evening of racing, we have 5 lights. And we're away for the sprint race here in Azerbaijan for the front of the grid then. Looks fairly even, but it's a great start for Verstappen, and Verstappen jumping to the lead. He gets in a turn up and runs out wide, and Matt back underneath him, going for the win now. Heading into turn 2, side by side then the 2 race leaders, but the inside line with Matt is going to look to try and squeeze his way through. Verstappen running back around the outside with more momentum off the exit. You can see them all jostling in the midfield, but Verstappen through into the race lead. Can Matt fight back at him yet again? He's charging back to the inner lane at turn 3, breaking lane, but Verstappen sweeping across. We'll get into the lead now. Let's look at Noah now, trying to claim that second place in the inside line. Can he follow through then? He's going to battle his way to the inside of the ART, but Matt will hold on to that second place and preserve his chances at the front of the race. Then Noah tucking behind Rocco. Now, slowing in 4th position. Now, they all sort themselves out. Campbell and Toxic moving up. They now run 5th and 6th from Sweet Crown, who drop back a little bit on. In particular Miami had a dreadful start and now drops well down the field as Noon right up ahead of us. Now they sweep the way, going uphill to the castle section. QVR Verstappen leads. Matt T40 now holding firm in second place. A bit of oversteer out of that corner, but he will just about hold on to it then. In a 6th, Rocco looking strong in that 4th place there. Nolan struggling early to stick with the top 2, already beginning to establish themselves then. Verstappen looking to run riot now at the front of the race, but we know Matt had giant killing pace in the last race. We'll see what he can try and do with it then. As Larkin dropping back at a turn 15 then, and look at that Lando running right where he is in the Mexico Noon. He's had a great start to this race as Lando gets through them. With no behind him, Josh will be past Larkin as well. Larkin has had an evening to forget here in Azerbaijan, and now dropping himself outside of the top 10, up at the front. Rocco fighting back at Nolan, he's in a podium fight yet again, but Campbell trying to make it 3 abreast, and then the slipstream he's boxed in, but he finds a way through, and now Campbell, who's had a phenomenal start to the race, is now trying to run round the outside, gets cut off there, but he might just get the high ground around the outside of Rocco as Nolan hangs on to it, but Rocco fighting it back to the inside line now, has the high ground in a turn 2, can try and squeeze his way to the outside, and will maintain and preserve that position then. In the mid part of the field, it is now Campbell's teammate Toxie is putting him under pressure, does not go through, it's now Dylan out the race again. And quite simply, he's had enough of racing here tonight. We've not really seen much from him so far. You can see now a bit of lag throughout the order. Campbell's car jumping around a little bit then behind Rocco. You can see Nolan preserving that as further up the top 2 beginning to break away. They battle for the win as well back in that Singapore feature race. We'll see if they're going to go at it again. With Verstappen leading it, Matt second place, then Nolan holding on to the podium, but he has immense pressure, then Rocco right there with him, and Campbell as well, hounding the back of even the Trident, looking to try and find a way through if he's going to try and get that gap opening up. So Verstappen leads the way then. Matt trying to stay with him, but you can see that gap's already opened up. Maybe Matt made another error going through that castle section. He's dropped back a little bit then. His car's intact, but Verstappen has a bit of a breakaway in this race, and is looking to run clear, and try and pull away at the front of the race. You're still seeing them settling out behind then. Rocco holding on. In that 4th position in front of Campbell. We saw that huge scuffle in the last lap where he was able to get past Campbell heading into turn 2. But Nolan's still holding firm, holding fast. But you said he's going to struggle to maintain that position all the way throughout, especially as we're going to have DRS active on the very next lap. And so now DRS is not going to be active yet, but going into turn 3, we're going to see it first in action. See Campbell looking to try and break that slipstream. Toxic in behind him. And Toxic looks content to hold on then. Street Crown then Tin Can, then Miami, then Noon. Rounding out that top 10 out on the road then as we head up to the 3rd lap, then further back in the field then Josh and Larkin claiming the inside line. Josh running the long way round, will try and claim the faster outside line then, heading into turn 2, and it's going to sweep round, and Josh in a 12th position in front of Larkin trying to get back alongside then, but I said it's going to be futile, but looking to badly up the road then, you can see down Lando on the move again, trying to get through on no, but cannot get far enough alongside on the brakes, and it's now Larkin and Josh going side by side. Josh on the outside, Larkin though, and asserting its authority on the inside of the corner, but maybe not quite enough. They can see the inside line for turn 4. It's going to be with Josh, and now they battle for the exit of the corner. But Josh will get through and see off that battle of exit. Larkin, who has to sit it behind in 13th place for the time being. The Miami recovering tonight now has Tin Can just in front of him on the road, then looking for a double podium maybe, but it says that's a little bit out of his reach. Verstappen's gap in the front, 1 second's dead, and Matt's going to need to find something if he wants to get back within it then. Can he charge up? He's just about holding on to it. You can see himself running in that formation, 1 and 2. Certainly though, they are certainly a bit more pretentious behind. Looks like Nolan's holding on firmly, but Rocco not quite so easily. And Campbell for the 2nd race running his hounding, and he has his teammate to try and back him up. He's looking to the inside lane at turn 16. That's never going to happen, but he's setting up a potential manoeuvre. Heading down the straight then, looking towards turn 1. With DRS now enabled, you can see some swaps then. Rocco's going to be under tremendous pressure from Campbell, and Campbell now lining him up with a strong momentous slipstream, pulling now to the inside line, and for the 2nd race running, Rocco squeezing right to the pit wall then, but Campbell is going to get the high ground, heading a turn 1, can Rocco sweep around the outside. Campbell's parking on the apex, but Rocco fading back, almost hits the wall on the outside of turn 1, and they're going at it again, but the inside line, this time's with Campbell, but the exit and the DRS will be with the NSX driving the Trident. It gets back alongside Campbell, now returning the favour, forcing Rocco towards the wall, but Rocco with the line now. We've got Toxic trying to make it 3 abreast. That doesn't happen now. Hey, we got Rocco with the inside line. He's going to squeeze Campbell out, and Toxic gets alongside his teammate. We'll back out of it though. We'll not quite go for the move. We'll sit him behind and wait for other opportunities to present themselves. An immense battle here for 4th place with Nolan pulling clear, and Nolan controlling this battle as it stands. And he's had a very good evening so far after what has been an extraordinarily difficult season. He is running clear at the front of this podium battle. We'll see if he can continue to hold on to it. This immense battle at the front still rages on. Verstappen trying to pull out of Matt's DRS. Rage. Matt, he drops out of it slightly, but he gets himself back in and recovers. But again, it just goes back and forth. It's an ebbing and flowing battle. It's going to come down to these next few corners. Maybe Verstappen will be able to pull away if he gets to the front, but it may well be difficult. Look at Campbell, he's trying to attack Rocco in a turn 15. He's just looking to try and assert his dominance, but he makes a little error in turn 15, just about. Holds on to the car, holds on to the traction, as look at this up the front then. There's just thousands of a second into the battle for DRS then. There's nothing to choose between them, as now Campbell past Rocco. Going through, maybe Rocco let him through to get DRS, but he's going to send him out, and now Toxic is going to try and follow through behind it. So he says that Campbell's going to come under pressure from not one, but two cars. Can Toxic get 2 and 1 here? He's looking towards the outside line. Campbell trying to break the slipstream behind, but now Rocco to the inside line. Toxic trying to follow through, gets past his teammate. Can he get to the inside line of ASX? Rocco breaking very late as the championship leader. Down deep on. And now it's Rocco dropping back then. Rocco now with Sweetcrown beneficiary running round the outside, then noon out the race altogether. And a VSC comes out. Rocco just holds on for a Sweetcrown. It was Campbell that dropped back. Absolute mayhem down there at turn 1, with the order dramatically shaken up then. Nolan inherits P3 and has a decent margin, and Toxic moving forward. Hardy's had enough of the race now, but Noon going out, bringing out that VSC. We're waiting now for everything to be adjusted. Verstappen's lead is still maintained. Matt going with him. And we'll see when these guys are going to go then, when green flags come back out. Who's going to get the better launch? Who's going to get the better timing off of this safety car restart? And now they are gearing up, and now they get racing. Look at this, the Sweetcrown under pressure for Campbell. Campbell trying to jump him to the inside line. They're going to battle for the Campbell section. Campbell though lags in front, and does indeed get up into that second position, looking to move forward there. But we have some drive-through penalties to report there. Rocco critically and Josh further down the field have picked themselves up drive-through penalties. And now that's going to really set them back in the race then. But look at this, NSX Rocco now trying to attack Toxic. Look at the inside line, back to the outside line, as now he's got Campbell as well hassling in from behind. But Rocco the drive-through is going to have to get served. Look at Sweetcrown attacking Campbell to the inside line. He's squeezed by the Scotsman. The Univirtuosi running around the outside will just about hold on to the place. But Sweetcrown is flying and looking to try and get through. So now they go now, punching through onto the straight. Miami right there with them as well. Now with slipstreams now galore out there on the road. We'll see if the positions are going to change hands now. Now Sweetcrown to the inside line. On Campbell draws alongside the Univirtuosi. Now they're battling. Now can Miami maybe try and benefit? Rocco went to the pits further up the road. That's going to clear these guys up there as Campbell squeezes Sweetcrown to the inside line now as they go there for turn 1. Campbell on the outside, Sweetcrown on the inside, and look at Miami now trying to gain from this, but he can't quite find a way through. Has to sit back there, and Campbell attacks turn 2. Will have that position secured and get himself now up into that 5th position. Now Miami behind, 10 Cam with them, Lando even with them then. It is an immense strain, an immense battle, an immense fight in the midfield at the moment. We'll see if anyone can try and find a way through. Certainly not to this middle part of the lap, then it's almost impossible to overtake around here. And so they're all just sitting in a line waiting up at the front. Verstappen still pulling clear. He's now got Mac pretty comfortably outside that DRS range. It's now Lando and 10 Cat battling. Lando going for the inside line. 10 Cat's made a mistake. 10 Cat flying off then. Down there at turn 5, and now down into 9th place at the back of the train. I'm trying to see if he's got away without damage. I think he is just about fine, but that's certainly set him back now from 8th to 9th, and now he's going to have to try and work his way back. Get back within the cars ahead, and Campbell's still holding on to 5th, but he doesn't quite have the pace to pull away by the looks of things, because Sweetcrown is hounding him and looking for a way through eventually. It's now Josh is going off. Josh off there at a turn 12. Maybe there was contact, maybe he went round on his own, but anyway, the MP Motorsport car round, and now out of contention for points. Surely he drops down into 12th place with Zonema now in behind him. Not been a great evening for Zonema either. He's had a fairly miserable time out there, as now they run down into the second half of the race then. Verstappen's lead 1.5 seconds, he's pretty comfortable. Sweetcrown is still with Campbell, and he's going to close up considerably, but he's also going to come under pressure, come under heat from the charge of XL Miami. And behind the DRS, so we can't out to him then. He's closing all the time, but I don't think he's closing quite enough. Sweetcrown, if anything, is going to chase down Campbell, but cannot quite get to the range he needs and have to sit it behind it. Look at Miami really attacking on the brakes. Going throughout that turn 1 is penalty. Lando is going to set it back then, at least by Tin Can. As it stands, is Larkin and Carrier right together on the track. Yet again, those guys have been absolutely going back and forth. Hammer and Tongs battle all the way throughout the evening. Not for many points, but certainly a lot of fun that they're having out there on the road. That Campbell making a little error, putting Sweet Crown over the top and ever closer, looking for a way through. Then he has Uni Virtuosi lined up there as Rocco gets another penalty. Going into the pit lane, he might well call it a day. He's had a horror show so far in this race. Still Nolan holding firm in that third position then. Toxic, Campbell, Sweet Crown, Miami, Lando, Tin Can all trying to chase him down. But so far, he has fell to nothing. But you sense that Toxic can try and chase him down. Toxic though, not showing the kind of pace that we see from him. Maybe he's got some slight wing damage on that car. He looks fine visually, but he's not showing the pace we usually see from him. And it's actually allowing Campbell to get up back towards him, and he's dragging this entire train with him then, as they now look to move up towards him, but he's struggling to get that DRS range and consolidated. Up in the front for Stabbin, seeing off back to U40, the gap coming down ever so slightly on the last lap or two. As we'll see if Matt can maybe try and fight a way through them. 1.4 seconds the gap then as they come over the lane. Then as the Tin Can's going off again. This time at turn 15. He recovers the car, but he's going to drop now out of the points. Disaster for XL Tin Can. Now he drops well down the field behind Josh even. Tin Can now have a horrible race. This is going to be one to forget for him. There is no doubt about that. Then Sweet Crown holding on though. Trying to hold on in front, but he's lost that DRS contact now as Miami trying to chase down there. Gary drawing alongside him. Past Larkin down the main straight. He's going to get the move down up into Nathan. And the Dams, these guys now looking for points from this race. And the way things have unfolded out there on the track, as Josh gets disqualified for ignoring the drive-through. So Josh now out the race, baffling that he didn't serve it. So he's clearly had enough then. We're down to just 14 cars in the race, and several of them not within contention in the race. Look though at Larkin though, he's still fighting at Gary. To the inside lane, it's going to be in a turn 3, but Gary breaks very, very late. He's going to cut across his nose and get in front into 9th position. These guys going at it, but still, Gary holding firm in 9th. These guys a long way off though, this train up the road. That is tail ended by Lando. You can see him trying to chase down Miami as they're all bunching up now for the podium. Nolan coming under much more pressure now, but a penalty. Toxic is going to now really hurt the championship leader now. The penalties didn't work against him in the last race, but in this race they certainly will. As now Tin Can losing out to Rocco. They both converge at the pit lane. They're a long way off the field, but they are probably going to set fastest laps in the race. It's a bit of a consolation for them, and maybe an extra championship point, or at least denying it from the guys inside the top 10. Look at Lando though. He's got Miami set up. Can he get away through though? Miami's holding on to Sweet Crown's DRS. The field, this group I should say, is breaking up into 2 groups of 3 as it stands then. Nolan now with Toxic, hunting him down. Toxic looks to have rediscovered his pace, and now has Autogear Nolan laid up and looking for a way through. Now, he's going to activate that DRS, and surely he's going to be near enough. No one doesn't have a chance of holding this position on the track. The question is, though, can he stay within that range and pick himself up the podium out there with the penalties? But Campbell behind is a major threat. He's going to look to try and benefit us now. They're still battling further back, and Sweet Crown a little bit detached now from this train as Miami under pressure from Lando, but Lando's penalty is alleviating some of that pressure. And Miami can hope to keep him behind and at least benefit from the penalties in the latter part of the race. Then just under 3 laps to go in the evening. And look at this now from XL Lando chasing down Miami, but the move not coming through. He's late on the brakes at the turn 3. Actually, Miami is too late on the brakes. Runs into the back of Sweet Crown. Sweet Crown will hold on to the car, but he did have to try and gather that back up, and he lost a little bit of time in doing so. Now Toxic head of the train, Nolan going with him, and Campbell still dreams of a podium, dreams of a double podium finish here tonight. Can he maybe benefit? Can Toxic possibly pull out enough of a gap to maybe not lose out from this penalty? Currently he's P5, but we'll see if he can really push forward in this last lap. Then Nolan already struggling to stay in contact, the gap stretching to 8/10 with now Campbell lining up Autogear Nolan. The manoeuvre to come through very, very shortly. Surely now, as he has that slipstream all sorted out. Matt coming back towards Verstappen at the front end, so Verstappen's not out of the woods just yet. This battle for the win has not been mentioned much in this race, but it's certainly worth pointing out there. Matt's extra pace has just about managed to claw back Verstappen by the smallest of margins, but by the smallest of margins he's going to be out of the DRS range. Campbell now, up behind Orgear Nolan now, he's going to look for that DRS that has to come over the line. Nolan will not have DRS off of Toxic. Toxic pulling clear to such an extent he might just have the double podium unlocked, but now Campbell gets alongside Nolan and is drawing alongside and clear down the main straight. He's going to get through as further down the field now. Lando drawing now, level with Miami to the inside of the turn one, but they're going to go to war into the corner of the apex. It's going to be with Lando running around the outside of Miami's not giving it up now, still fighting for the line of the turn two. Lando well the brakes, will assert its position on the track, runs wide, but the stab of was there for Miami is going to set him back, and surely he cannot now fight through. Just under 2 laps to go. Verstappen looks comfortable. He can just see out this race. He doesn't need to push crazy hard. He doesn't want to let Matt with his DRS and give Matt half a chance. But so far Verstappen has just controlled it. Matt's giving him a real run for his money. But as it seems right now, it's just not going to be enough. And for the third time this season, Matt may well be the bridesmaid if Verstappen does not crumble, fall to the pressure. On his last few laps, he will have his third win of the season. Matt gets very close to the wall to turn 9. Will just about avoid and hold on to it. As now you can see these guys slowing into line. Still Toxic is holding on. We saw it. I think I was for Toxic actually. Breaking his front wing was that. Heading to the castle section. It was one of the Univirtuosis then. Toxic has wing damage. And now Campbell surely has the podium in hand. So Campbell could just wait his chance and he can get through them and solidify a third place for a double podium finish. He's not had a perfect evening, but he's had a damn sight near better evening than just about anyone else. And so now, they're going to round that final turn. You can see that Toxic a little bit outway. Surely Campbell has them all lined up. And Nolan will surely get that benefit of the penalty as well now, as he doesn't have a task of staying with Toxic. He's out of range of Campbell, but now Campbell is going to easily pull past his teammate. There is nothing that Toxic can do to hold him back then. A mistake costing him dearly. Through goes Toxic in a mile. He goes up. Now up, and so goes Campbell, up into the podium. Now Lando moving past Sweet Crown. He gets himself up into P6 now. Moving up in the order. Gets in a sec, but that £1 penalty is going to cost him dearly. Coming to the end, and he may well have beaten Toxic otherwise, but ultimately looks like he's going to finish no higher than 8th as it stands in this race. So Sweet Crown in Miami might be able to actually benefit from Toxic's penalty as it stands. And so Toxic may well be at the mercy of dropping several places in this race if he doesn't put together a really good last lap. Up in the front, Verstappen is away and gone. 1.7 seconds clear. He has driven superbly here tonight. And after a disastrous qualifying, he's fought back. And he's had a very successful evening, very high point scoring evening that he can carry forward throughout the remainder of the season. Has just got half a lap to navigate. He is safely through the castle section. Doesn't push it very hard at all. Matt Keynes, superb amount of time. Getting about half a second up there, but he gets the penalty. And that is going to be the final nail in the coffin. He has now pretty much zero chance of winning this race. All Verstappen has to do is drive the car home and he'll have this all wrapped up. Still headed for the line. Toxic's pace is actually pretty good then with that wing damage, and he may just be able to secure a decent enough finishing position. Let's see his gap there, 8.7 seconds. So at the moment he's losing out to Sweet Crown and Nolan only, I believe, as it stands there. Miami may well just be a little bit too far out of race. We're coming to the line now. Verstappen, he's at last let Matt do his DRS, but Matt is too far back to punish it, and with a penalty. Verstappen can just drive the car to the line now. 9/10 of a second clear, and QVR Verstappen will win the sprint race here at Baku. Matt is second. Campbell a double podium tonight. He's had a fantastic evening. Toxic will follow him home in 4th place. Nolan will jump through, and well, Sweet Crown as well. Yes, he gets Toxic by 0.02 of a second. In 5th position, Toxic 6th, Miami 7th, Lando 8th. Gary will for the second time win the battle with Larkin that those two have had all night long. They finished 9th and 10th. Safed will be 11th, Cinema 12th, Tinkan 13th, and Rocco and 14th. That will round out the evening of racing, and that is going to be it then for tonight. QVR Verstappen with the victory in that sprint race. The feature race, of course, went to Toxic earlier on. As we wait for the last few cars to come over the line, that is going to be it for that evening. Ted Campbell Cross next. Rocco now following him home. And that is going to be it then. Ted Can crashing over the line. Had a fairly disastrous time in that sprint race, as did Rocco, which started really promising actually for Rocco. But unfortunately, just falling fell, and he will cross the line in the pit lane, or not, in 14th place. That is going to be it for tonight. And so with everything said and done, I believe that Toxic MML will continue to extend that championship lead. I think that Campbell will probably jump out of 3rd place then, in front of Lark, who had a miserable evening there, and Miami might actually get up towards his teammate as well. Maybe into the top 5 at least. Miami had a very good evening. But that is going to be it for the racing here tonight. Verstappen on top, and the two Univirtuosis on the podium then. Or so not the two Univirtuosis, apologies. I made so many blunders tonight, my apologies. But Matthew Forte is second in the Chiru car. And 3rd place, of course, going to Campbell in the Univirtuosi. So that is going to be it for tonight. Just a few loose ends to tie up then. My driver of the day for today, difficult call. I'm tempted to go for Campbell, just with the sheer consistency over the 2 races. Matthew Forte, if he didn't run out of fuel in the feature race and without a penalty, he may well have really challenged for that as well. Fast lap of the race, just going to quickly check it. Looks like that's going to go to Tin Can, I think. As it's all said and done, he gets fastest lap by just a few tenths of a second. But yeah, as for driver of the day, I'll probably go with Campbell, even though Toxic probably was the highest scoring driver from tonight. Verstappen also gets a nod for his phenomenal fight back from that qualifying session. But I think that is going to be it then. Of course, tune in to all of Eloise content throughout the week. Coming up, of course, on Fridays is going to be the ACC League as well as the F1 PC League. And of course, on Saturdays, you're going to get the regular F1 League. And every Monday at 7 PM UK time, you're going to be seeing both Division 1 and Division 2 of LOE Formula 2. But I think that is everything said for this week. So, with everything said and done, I have been Daniel Hogard, and until next time, we'll see you later.